Hi there my fellow artists, it's Yuri again with another makeup video. I will be teaching you how to do a full face spring look. I'll be using my Tati Beauty, Jeffreestar, and ABH palettes and a few of my other favorite products in this tutorial. I'm starting off this look with my Tati Beauty palette. If you are a beginner for makeup, this is the best starter palette on the market. It has beautiful basic shades, shimmers, and sequences that are high quality and blendable. Each shade is easy to find because it's labeled and with a corresponding color and finish. I'm starting this look with a dense fluffy brush. I'm stamping this matte cranberry color into the corner of the eyelid and then gently blending it towards the center of my eye. I'll be layering this color bit by bit until the color is vibrant. Sweep the brush back and forth along the lid to build up the color. I'm stamping the color on the corner of the eyes and then blending them back and forth. Think of this as if you're making two dots and then connecting them with your shade. Use the same method on your other eye. Now I'm diving into my Jeffrestarxmorph palette and dipping into this dark burgundy color called Calabasas. We will gently blend these two corresponding shades into one another. Be careful to layer it above your previous color in order not to overshadow it. This is used to make a gentle gradient between the two colors. Great job! You made it through step 1. You should have a finished look similar to this one. Your shadows should be well blended and you should still have eye primer visible on the lid. For our next move, we will grab this fluffy angled brush. We will dip into the metallic beige color called Aura and gently top this metallic shade above our previous matte color. We are basically using this shade as a topper. This will help us blend the gap between the previous color and our eyebrow. The metallic shade will highlight our brow bone and add some more glamour to our look. This step is optional, but I will blend the metallic cranberry color called Poet just below the beige color. This metallic color helps fuse these two beautiful metallic cranberry and beige colors together. Alright, looking good. Let's move on to our next step. Alright, it's time to cut that crease. I'm going in with my affordable Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in a light beige color. I'm coating one side of a dense flat brush. Be careful not to add too much product. Let's start our cut crease by tapping the concealer in the corner of our eye. Starting from our beginning points, we will gently press the concealer towards the middle of our eyelid. We will keep this process neat and clean by following the natural curve of the eye. Depending on the size of the doe foot of your concealer, place a few dots on the lower end of your concealer. Make sure to look up and blink. This will show you how high you should build your cut crease. Grab a hold of a dense flat brush and fill in the empty space with your concealer. Use the flat end of your brush to curve and smooth out the edges of the concealer. Although we have a layer of concealer on our lid, I'm going to add a second sticky base for our upcoming shadows. I'll use a few dabs of my Anastasia of Beverly Hills primer to prep the lid. Now let's circle back to our Tati Beauty palette and dip into the matte shade Poet. Let's soften up the edges of our concealer. This will fix any lingering mistakes that we made. Alrighty, let's dip into our matte black shadow called Memory. We will use a thick brush to gently blend this color in. Start at the lower corner of your eye and gently blend the color outward. Since we are using a darker shade, be sure to follow the curve of the eyelid in order not to overshadow our previous colors. Soften the edges of that black with a fluffy brush. Depending on how dark or light you want the look to be, you can switch between a matte cranberry color or a matte black. Using an angled dense brush, start placing your matte shadow in the lower corner of the eye. Place the shadow alongside the tape. Follow the downward slope of the tape to help guide your brush. Gently work the color upward and outward. A good way to visualize this is that you're drawing a triangle on its side and then filling it in. Your tape will keep the edges clean and sharp and minimize fallout. Don't use up all your lid space because black is a dominant color. We don't want to cover up our cranberry look. Let's get back into our matte shade called Poet. Now we will press this color alongside the black. Think of it as if you're drawing a straight line in the middle of the eyelid. Now gently blend the matte black and matte cranberry color together. The black and cranberry color should be visible on the lid. We can gently blend the two colors together. Let's add a small drop of eye primer to the corner of the eye. Once you have placed the primer down, use a small fluffy brush to soften up the edges. Think of this move as if you're making a small cut crease to prep the lid for our beige color and our glitters. going into my Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette and laying down the color Sideboard on the newly prepped area. Now, if you don't have this ABH palette, don't worry. Just go back into your Tati Beauty palette and use the metallic shade and Aura to fill the area. I'm using the metallic shade Poet to lay over the matte color. I'll do the same with the black color. Keep adding touch-ups until you're satisfied with your look. Once everything is well blended and to your liking, you can add some glitter on the lid. I'm going to lay down the glitter with a makeup applicator. You can use your finger as well if that isn't already covered in makeup. Next step is foundation. I'm going to place a couple droplets of my BECCA Cosmetic foundation. Once our foundation is all blended out, let's remove our tape. I'm going in with my Born This Way concealer in the shade Cocoa. I'm placing concealer on areas that often crease, such as my forehead and smile lines. Be careful with this concealer. Since the doe foot is so large, it can distribute a lot of product at once. But since I use the shade closer to my skin tone, I can just blend this in with my foundation. Let's keep our hard work in place with our NYX-Dewy Finish Setting Spray. It's time to lighten and contour the face. I'll be using a few concealers to get the job done. You're welcome to use any brand of contour kits such as cream or powder. Whichever one fits your liking and budget is perfect. I'm going in with my darkest Morphe shade, C5.55, to contour the cheeks and sharpen my jawline. I also use this technique to give the illusion of a higher nose bridge. Next, I'll be using my Anastasia of Beverly Hills setting powder to set and lighten my face. I place it around the areas I had placed my concealer at earlier. I use a lighter shade than my skin tone because it helps brighten and smooth these areas on my face. Since we are working underneath the eyes, you want to choose a dense, short bristle brush for this next step. While we have our setting powder on, let's add color underneath the eye. We can use the setting powder as a barrier from any fallout. This will help keep our area nice and clean. Let's dip back into our Tati beauty palette. We will go into the sequin shade called Story, which is a beautiful muted orange shade. Apply the shadow beneath the waterline of the eye. Don't stress about the fallout, that's why we have our setting powder in place. My next step is to blend this metallic shade named Poet on top of the orange color. I'm adding a little black beneath the waterline just to darken the colors. Don't worry if you added too much black beneath the eyes. We can soften that harsh color by blending in more of our cranberry color. Oh, I can't forget my ColourPop Jelly eyeshadow in the shade Lunch Money. These are my favorite highlighters to use in the waterline. Placing eyeshadows in the waterline has a tendency to leave powder in the eyeball, and using an eyeliner pencil usually is way too waxy for the area. That's why I always go to my ColourPop Jelly eyeshadow and set. This highlight also goes really well in the corner of the eyes. Last but not least, let's dust off all that setting powder. I'm going in with my Morphe bronzer to add warmth and definition to the look. I will apply the bronzer evenly around the circumference of the face. I'll add more to the area slightly below my cheekbone and along my jawline. Our goal is to add definition back to the face. My next step is to draw my cat eye. I'm using my ABH gel eyeliner. Here's a little trick for those who need a little help keeping their cat eye clean and crisp. I'm coating a small, precise brush on both sides with the gel eyeliner and drawing the tail end of the cat eye. I'm using a triangular makeup sponge and placing it right below the line. From there, I'm going to start from the tip of the cat tail and draw downward. I will slowly build the end of the cat tail up until its thickness is to my liking. Let's add a little bit of that black gel eyeliner right below the corner of the eye, right under the waterline. Let's add a little more color by adding a little of our eyeshadow below the tail of our cat eye. Don't be afraid to add a few touch-ups along the way. Don't forget to coat the top and lower lashes with your favorite mascara. I'm going to give my lips a fuller, pouty look by outlining them with a color slightly darker than my lip color. I'm outlining the lips with my NYX lip liner pencil in burgundy. Starting with the upper lip, I'll apply my Jeffreestar Velour liquid lipstick in the matte shade Designer Blood. I'll add a second shimmery coat in the shade Poinstetta in the middle. I'm coating the edges of a flat, dense brush with an inexpensive concealer. I'll lightly tap the corners of my bottom lip and clean up the edges of my lip liner. Once I blend that in, I'll add a darker shade right below my bottom lip. You can use a contoured powder, darker eyeshadow, or darker concealer for this next step. We are basically adding a shadow right beneath the lower lip. This will make the lower lip look plump and juicy. I'm going into my 24 karat Jeffreestar highlighter palette and tapping into the shade Legendary. I'll be placing it in the middle of the lip just for a little bit of extra shine. My last step is to add highlight to my cheeks and the middle of my nose. Voila! That's the end of our makeup tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe for more beauty and art related content. Let me know how you feel about these products and which was your least or most favorite item. Alright now, I'll see you next time.